Was Angie Stone's death really just an accident? Or is there a darker story behind the crash? Some shocking new claims suggest the truth may be far from what we heard. Angie Stone tragically died in a van accident on March 1st, but recent insider reports say the crash could have been prevented. Witnesses, including Sharita Murphy, who was in the van, claimed the driver sped despite Angie pleading with him to slow down. Adding fuel to the fire, some say they heard pistol-like popping sounds at the scene. Rumors of a sniper being spotted near the crash add another eerie twist. The van's driver, Lethal Carter, reportedly had no valid license and an extensive criminal record including parole violations, forgery, weapon charges, and more. Questions arise about why such a driver was hired to transport the late singer. The official Alabama Highway Patrol report states the van flipped on Interstate 65 and was then hit by a big rig, resulting in Angie Stone's death. While others in the van survived, the accident details leave some doubting the official narrative. Angie's daughter revealed Angie believes someone had a target on her back, fueling suspicions of foul play. Just before her death, Angie exposed Universal Music Group for withholding her royalties and earnings accumulated over decades. Despite creating numerous hit songs, Angie claimed she was never paid her fair share. She warned other artists about the darker side of the music industry, saying she was fighting for justice for her family's future. With so many unanswered questions, Angie Stone's tragic end remains shrouded in suspicion, and the story challenges us to look deeper into the shadows behind the music industry's brightest stars. Suspicious circumstances around Angie Stone's fatal crash. Angie Stone's tragic death in a van crash on March 1st has raised numerous eyebrows, sparking theories that suggest a deeper, darker narrative behind this unfortunate incident. Eyewitness reports indicate that the driver, Lethal Carter, was speeding, despite Angie pleading with him to slow down, as they navigated the early morning roads. Witnesses, including Sharita Murphy, who was in the van at the time, have claimed that Carter ignored these warnings, leaving many questioning his decision-making that fateful night. Equally chilling are claims made by some witnesses, who reported hearing popping sounds, reminiscent of gunfire, just before the crash occurred. Speculation surrounding these sounds has fueled rumors of a potential sniper being involved, casting a shadow over what was initially presented as a simple traffic accident. Further adding to the enigma are concerns about Carter's history, including having no valid driver's license and a convoluted legal past filled with serious charges. Questions swirl around why someone with such a troubled background was entrusted with the life of a beloved artist like Angie Stone. Reports state that following the fatal crash, the truck driver involved exhibited suspicious behavior, including abruptly quitting his job and going missing right after the incident. This disappearance has left law enforcement and the public wondering if there's more to the story than meets the eye. The combination of these alarming factors creates an overwhelming sense of unease, suggesting that Angie Stone's death might not have been just an accident, but rather a convergence of unfortunate events that may well have been intentional. Questionable driver with a troubled past. Official accident report versus community speculation. The official report states that Angie Stone's van flipped on Interstate 65 at approximately 4:25 a.m. on March 1st, before being struck by a Freightliner truck, resulting in Angie's tragic death. The Alabama Highway Patrol confirmed that all other occupants of the van survived, but Angie was pronounced dead at the scene. However, many in the community are raising eyebrows over the official narrative, questioning the circumstances surrounding the accident and the decisions leading up to it. Eyewitness accounts have emerged that tell a different story, with some claiming to have heard popping sounds, reminiscent of gunfire, just before the crash occurred. This has led to rampant speculation that suggests foul play may have been involved. Sharita Murphy, a key witness and a member of Angie's entourage, stated that the driver, Lethal Carter, was speeding and ignored Angie's repeated pleas to slow down, despite the early morning hour. Allegedly, he was in a rush to get to Baltimore, even though Angie was the one scheduled to perform there. Adding to the mystery, there are claims that Carter had a troubling history, including a suspended license, raising questions about why he was behind the wheel in the first place. Additionally, reports suggest that the truck driver involved in the collision quit his job shortly after the incident and disappeared, which fuels even more speculation about the truth behind Angie's fatal accident. With so many unanswered questions surrounding the accident, community members are left wondering what really happened that fateful night, and whether the truth was ever fully unveiled. Angie's public feud with Universal Music Group. Angie Stone, a celebrated artist and songwriter, publicly took a stand against Universal Music Group, alleging that the company had been stealing her royalties for decades. This feud came to light just before her tragic passing, when Angie laid bare the alleged misappropriation of her earnings in a candid reveal that shocked fans and industry insiders alike. Throughout her career, Angie created numerous hits, generating significant revenue for the label, yet she claimed she had never received her fair share of the money she was owed. In a heartfelt video, Angie outlined her battle against UMG, detailing how the music giant had mishandled her financial records, depriving her of substantial income that should have come from her work. She discussed how she felt frustrated and betrayed by an industry that, in her eyes, had taken advantage of her talent and dedication, leaving her to fight for the financial recognition she deserved. Angie emphasized her commitment not just to her own legacy, but also to ensuring future artists were aware of the potential pitfalls lurking within the industry. She warned upcoming musicians about the importance of vigilance in order to protect their creations and earnings from exploitation. Angie was determined to reclaim her rightful place in the industry and warned that Universal Music would have to pay up for her life's work, for her children and grandchildren. Her brave stance resonated deeply with many, casting a spotlight on the often hidden struggles artists face when navigating the complexities of the music business. The timing of her revelations and subsequent tragic death left fans and advocates questioning whether there were deeper, more sinister forces at play in a world that can be unforgiving to those who dare to expose the truth. Eyewitness accounts and deleted videos. The crash that claimed Angie Stone's life was filled with ominous circumstances. Eyewitnesses have shared haunting accounts of the events leading up to that fateful moment. Sharita Murphy, a key eyewitness and member of Angie's entourage, recounted how the driver, Lethal Carter, ignored Angie's desperate pleas to slow down. In the early hours of the morning, the setting was rushed and chaotic, yet Angie was adamant about safety, asking why they were in such a hurry. Allegedly, the driver claimed he needed to reach Baltimore quickly, even though it was Angie who had the scheduled performance there. As details of the crash surfaced, another eyewitness claimed they heard strange popping sounds, akin to gunfire, right before the accident occurred, raising eyebrows and suspicions within the community. Adding to the mystery, reports surfaced that moments after the crash, a video capturing the aftermath was deleted by the poster without explanation, leaving fans and family in shock. This disappearance of crucial evidence only fueled speculation about foul play and the darker aspects of the music industry. Eyewitnesses describing chaotic scenes as the 18-wheeler struck contrasted sharply with official accounts that insist on portraying the accident as a mere occurrence. Furthermore, the bizarre and abrupt deletion of the video led many to ask, what were they trying to hide? The tension surrounding this incident continues to grow as more questions arise about the circumstances of Angie's passing. With each new piece of information, the story only becomes more convoluted, shaping a narrative that many believe is far from simple. Industry reactions and theories from colleagues. In the wake of Angie Stone's tragic passing, Several prominent figures within the music industry expressed their shock and disbelief. Colleagues like Jaguar Wright have gone on record, stating that it was clear Angie did not die by accident. They believe her death may have been a well-orchestrated sacrifice, indicating a deeper conspiracy lurking beneath the surface, within the industry's murky waters. Wright even mentioned how Angie had those discussions regarding her feeling of being targeted prior to the accident, leading many to speculate further about the motives behind such a dire occurrence. Following the accidents, fans and fellow artists alike have voiced their concerns about the circumstances surrounding Angie's unfortunate fate. Numerous theories have circulated online, suggesting that her growing platform and outspoken criticism of industry giants, such as Universal Music Group, placed a target on her back. Some believe that her recent public battles for justice over stolen royalties ignited a wrathful response from those in power. In conversations across social media, the music community has rallied around the notion that her death serves as a cautionary tale. Artists reflect on the potential price of dissent and the risks associated with standing up against the establishment. As time goes on, more and more stories are shared, with people recalling their interactions with Angie, describing her as a powerful figure willing to fight for what was right, even in the face of overwhelming odds. While uncertainty looms over the true nature of her untimely demise, one thing remains clear: the industry continues to grapple with the ramifications of Angie's legacy and the truths that her story may ultimately reveal. Unanswered questions and the road ahead. With the investigation surrounding Angie Stone's tragic death, numerous unanswered questions linger, and the road ahead remains uncertain for her family and fans. Were the claims of foul play investigated thoroughly, or has the truth been buried under layers of industry secrecy? Witnesses reported suspicious popping sounds prior to the crash, with some even alleging that a sniper was present. What happened to the driver, Lethal Carter, after the accident? Why did he abandon the scene, and why? Were there no immediate consequences for his actions? While some believe it was merely an accident, others are left with a growing suspicion that there may be more to this story than meets the eye. Could Lethal Carter's shocking criminal history, filled with parole violations and other offenses, have played a role in the events that unfolded? Questions about his hiring cast doubt on the decisions made by those responsible for Angie's transport. And what about the truck driver involved in them? Fatal collision. Reports suggest he went missing shortly after the crash. His sudden disappearance raises eyebrows and questions about his connection to the entire scenario. As investigations continue, many wonder whether these suspicious happenings will ever be uncovered. Can justice be served for Angie, who is a beloved figure? And how will her legacy be protected amidst the chaos? The industry's response is crucial for the future, especially for upcoming artists who may find themselves in similarly precarious positions. As fans mourn the loss of this talented performer, they demand transparency and answers, while hoping for a path forward that honors Angie Stone's contributions to music. Only time will tell if the darker truths will come to light. Angie Stone's tragic end is wrapped in mystery and doubt, whether accident or something far darker. Her story reminds us to look beyond the surface. It challenges us to question what truly happens behind the scenes in the cutthroat music world. We must ask ourselves, was Lethal Carter simply an ill-fated driver, or was he a pawn in a much darker game? The rumors surrounding the driver's criminal past raise alarming concerns about his hiring, questioning the judgment of those who arranged for him to be behind the wheel. Furthermore, with many whispers about a sniper potentially being involved, along with witness accounts of popping sounds, it becomes hard to dismiss the notion that foul play could have been at hand. Angie's daughter, Diamond, reported that her mother always felt there was a target on her back, amplifying the eerie coincidence of her untimely demise on her son's birthday. The juxtaposition of Angie's fight against Universal Music Group, which she accused of withholding royalties, adds another layer of complexity. Was she silenced to protect powerful interests? As these accusations grow, so does the scrutiny. Both fans and family refuse to accept an easy explanation and demand answers. The lack of transparency surrounding the incident only fuels speculation further, as many suspect that the truth may never surface entirely. With the music industry harboring shady practices, how many more artists struggle in silence? Angie Stone's legacy should urge us all to advocate for change in an industry that often prioritizes profit over artists' well-being. As we reflect on her life and career, we are encouraged to continue seeking justice, not just for her, but for all who find their voices stifled in the shadows of fame.